Let's give some more love to our musicians. That's right. Good morning. Happy sunny Sunday. I am Reverend Rainbow, she, her. And today we are continuing with our theme, giant gentleness. So we get to remember this month the power and the strength of gentleness. That gentleness is actually a powerful thing. And then allow this giant gentleness to open us up to the truth of who we are, which is love in expression. So we come together to be reminded of all the moments in our lives that are sacred, whole, holy, and even the hard ones, right? Knowing that all of life is one. So we started the month with the one place that we can start, which is within ourselves. And we had the fabulous Reverend Chris here as our guest kicking it off. And she reminded us that we can give ourselves permission to simply be. That our worth and our value are not determined by our doing or our productivity, but our worth is gained simply because we are alive. It is that inherent nature of our being. And then focusing on this gentleness within ourselves and applying self-love and slowing down, we can acknowledge that every moment we encounter, as we encounter it with this gentleness and love and self-compassion, that we can know that it is for our highest and our best. Even though we might not see it in the moment, we can trust that everything is unfolding for our highest good and for the highest good of our entire collective. Last week, we talked about one of the ways to do this, which is moving beyond judgment. Now, as humans, it is our very nature to judge, right? And yet, when we can begin to create some space between what we are experiencing and what the meaning we're kind of making of it, right? When we can give ourselves that space and that perspective, we can begin to see things anew. So, it is important, as we talked about last week, to embrace active compassion in our relationships with ourselves and especially with those that we may deem the other. For knowing truly there is no other, for we are one. Now, next week, we are in for a treat, y'all. We have the creative genius, Miss Amy Steinberg, coming down from Asheville. And Amy is going to be presenting our message and the music with her title, So Spiritual. So I am going to attempt to wrap up this theme today so that we can experience all that Amy brings next week as she's kind of doing her own thing, which I love to give guests the permission to do their own thing and bring their own creative genius. So we're going to be wrapping up this theme around giant gentleness and looking at how we can apply this now to our communities and to our planet through the power of love. So what I know is that there is only love. Love anywhere, love everywhere. Love is. Love is the guiding force in our lives if we choose to tune to it, to learn from it, to listen to it, and to allow it to be. Love is always the answer. It is the essence of who we are. And I'm not talking about romantic love that can be fickle, that has opinions and judgments, right? I'm talking about the self-givingness of spirit, as Ernest Holmes calls it, to its own creation. So eternal love, this essence, this power, this energy that is beyond anything that we can really capture with words. This love that is the very nature of the universe, that created everything out of itself, simply to know itself more fully. So, love, as we bring our self to this conscious awareness by choosing to recognize love in all things, we can shine love upon the world and begin to choose to see and to perceive love in our lives. When we take the time and give ourselves the space to remember this truth and to allow love, truly all is well. Even in the depths of despair and grief and sadness, love is right where we are. And in fact, it is love itself that allows us to befriend grief and to feel and experience this world and people and nature more deeply. We are one life, one energy expressing itself in many faces and many names and many skin tones and genders and ideas and cultures and regions and so much more. So it's time that we open and allow love for all, and to share this gentleness with everyone and everything we encounter. To recognize love in all of humanity. This is where we really do our work, y'all, right? Because there's some things happening in the world, and there's some things that some people do that can be very upsetting. And yet, if we choose to focus on love and to remain steadfast on love and to ask what is mine to do in each moment instead of getting pulled and caught into other people's dramas, we can stand and allow love to be such a strong resonance within our own energetic field that all things else dissolve and fall back. That lack and limitation and scarcity and fear and conflict and doubt, that those things have no energetic resonance when standing strong in the field of love. So what would it be like for us to move through our lives and through our world as that love, being and bringing that highest vibration to all we do? And to celebrate and to continue to have faith and hope in where we are going as a collective. Love always wins. The fairy tales tell us, so it must be true. So to love beyond, we start within ourselves, right? And then to take that love that we have cultivated and to remember who we are and to bring it out into our communities, which are filled with people, some that we like and some maybe not so much, that is our work. So we can continue to be this love and to show up amongst others that may be doing things a little bit differently than we would choose to do. But without judgment, just know that love is still the answer. Whether it be our spiritual community, our work environment, our neighborhood that we live in, when we open to this gentleness and curiosity of what would love look like now, we can begin to see our roles in these spaces and places a little bit differently. Community is meant to be a place of belonging. Yet sometimes it's difficult to allow that to be when we are in a place of separation and judgment and conflict. Because of the gentleness that we are learning to cultivate within, we get to move and become aware of who we are and remember love in every moment. And then when we forget, which we will, and when we say or do things that are perhaps out of alignment with our true heart's desires and who we really know ourselves to be, that in those moments when we misstep, we can come back to love and allow grace within our own hearts, and then to be guided for what would love do now. What do I need to say or do to repair, to make amends, to forgive myself, and to make amends and ask for forgiveness from others, and allow that grace and that love to wash over us and transform and transmute anything unlike it. And the more we begin to practice this, the easier it becomes to let ourselves off the hook sometimes and to appreciate ourselves more and to be willing to change our perspective and our perception of life and maybe start to take things a little less personally and a little less seriously, to have fun and to allow the wonder and curiosity of a little child to open our hearts to see and experience something new. So creating that space and that distance from ourselves and what is occurring in our lives that can seem so dense, through breath, through our spiritual practice, by allowing love, we can create that spaciousness for more love to come and to see things anew. And then the sooner we can learn this lesson of letting go of what other people think about us, whoa, that's a deep one, we can begin to show up more fully and love ourselves more authentically, to be who we truly are. And here's the thing, we're not creating this giant gentleness from nothing, right? It's not like we have to make this happen. We get to cultivate it from this deep well within. Because we are always sourced by the infinite nature of life itself, which is love, which is peace, which is wholeness. And we can pull upon the strength of this. We're not going at it alone. And allow love to always guide the way. We can take the steps towards honoring ourselves and holding others in this authentic gentleness. And continue to expand love in all that we do. So how do we take it to the streets? Well, we show up and we see love in our neighborhoods. We are willing to choose to see love and to always ask what is mine to do in all areas of our life. Even politics, activism. How can we show up and love and allow love with Mother Nature herself? So as was mentioned with that beautiful reading, tomorrow is Earth Day. And we are called to share and shine this gentleness into every dark corner. And right now, Mother Earth is hurting. She's calling to us to those who love and who listen and who are paying attention, right? We're seeing these weather events like never before, with the climate change and the storms and floods and tornadoes and all of these things that are occurring at this kind of, bigger way than we've seen much in our lifetime, because something is wanting to be healed and transformed. So, how can we apply this giant gentleness and the love and the strength with Mother Earth? We say we are here with the goal of creating a world that works for all. And this includes Mother Earth. So the Centers for Spiritual Living is the greater organization that we are a part of. And the Sacred Activism team, as well as several other teams and committees from the greater organization, have come together to create an experience tomorrow for Earth Day. One of which is a prayer-a-thon, which is occurring all day. There's also meditations that are going to be going live, guided meditations every hour, and other ways to practice together to create that resonance that occurs, the power of those intentions coming together in a collective way to create a shift for Mother Earth. And we're going to share more about that later and ways that you can participate in that. But I want to presence for us here today a beautiful land acknowledgement that has been written specifically for Ahava by a friend of our community from the Cherokee Nation. Excuse me, I took it from off the wall and it's a little sticky here. So please just open your hearts with me as I read this. In the warm embrace of this sacred land, our hearts overflow with deep love and gratitude to this land's ancestral guardians, the Yochi, Osage, Cherokee, Shawnee, Hopewell, and Adena nations. It is crucial to recognize that despite the challenges of forced removal, the enduring spirits of the Yochi, Osage, Cherokee, and Shawnee nations have woven resilience and cultural richness into the very fabric of this landscape. The Hopewell and Adena, whose timeline on this land predates the aforementioned nations, were not relocated. Their stories add a touch of warmth and continuity to the unfolding narrative of this sacred land's shared history. Their enduring love and wisdom have cradled this land through the ebb and flow of time, weaving a beautiful tapestry of resilience and connection. By acknowledging these stories, we celebrate the strength, adaptability, and unique contributions of each community to the vibrant mosaic of our shared heritage. We humbly acknowledge the historical wounds and traumas that have touched and continue to touch the lives of Indigenous communities. In this present moment, our commitment springs from a well of love, respect, and the unwavering recognition of the inherent sovereignty of Indigenous peoples. We pledge to be attentive listeners, amplifiers of Indigenous voices, and perpetual learners about the rich diversity of Indigenous cultures, histories, and contemporary challenges. Gazing into the future, our hearts carry the flame of hope and determination. We stand resolute in creating spaces that celebrate and empower Indigenous communities, fostering environments for heartfelt conversations, recognizing the unyielding strength of Indigenous peoples, and supporting initiatives that champion cultural preservation, economic autonomy, and self-determination. This land acknowledgement is more than words. It's a love letter to the past, a present commitment, and a pledge for a future woven with threads of unity and justice. Grounded in boundless love and wholeness, we aspire to contribute to a world where Indigenous wisdom is cherished, their rights are honored, and their sacred journey is continued to be celebrated within an abundance of love. And one of the commitments that we have made here at Ahava by connecting with our friend is allowing our space to be used for sacred ceremonies, for a gathering of Indigenous people. And so we have made that invitation in a way to not just talk about it, but be about it, right? And so opening our space here for those Indigenous folks who want to gather. So as we move into our day beyond this experience, we can choose to, get caught up in the moment and with our friends and just kind of walk out into the world again as we did before, or we could choose to show up differently, to be more present, to be changed by these beautiful words, and to allow love to show up in a way that it's never shown up before. So what if we were to walk out and hug a tree, kiss the ground, smell a flower, praise the stars, lay flat on the ground and allow the little creatures and the critters to crawl upon our skin without irritation. There are many ways that we can embrace our oneness and the wonder of nature, to be reminded of our wholeness, and to be reminded that just as nature itself is always moving through these cycles of life and birth and renewal and dying away and letting go, that we too are a part of nature. And our minds can tell us somehow that we are different. And somehow, various religions and other narratives can tell us that we have dominion over the planet. But when we listen to our heart, when we listen to that drumbeat, when we listen to Mother Earth, she reminds us that we are one and that there is no power over. Because how could we have power over something that we already are? What if we were just to embrace it, to allow it, to honor it, to love it, and to let it be, just how it is showing up and just how it is not showing up? So many lessons from nature. The earth and all of her pieces and parts are part of this whole. And in our bodies, we too are a microcosm of the macrocosm of the entire universe. Yet, if we allow fear and struggle to try to dictate finding a solution for the problems of our world, we're going to see more of what we are already experiencing. right? But the science of mind, this teaching, which is the foundation here at Ahava, tells us that we get to focus on what we desire and experience more of that, which we put our energy and our attention towards. So instead of looking at everything that is wrong and beating the drum and preaching to the choir with your friends of all the negative things, what if we were to recognize it but not stay there, and instead allow a vision for something new to be birthed within, and beat that drum? Let that be the resonance that we are putting out into the world, of a vision of a world that works for all. Letting love be the compass that guides us to new possibilities. And it can be easy to think that, yeah, but we're so ingrained in these structures and systems, and what power do I have anyway when we live in a society of capitalism, consumerism, the patriarchy, heteronormative, etc., etc. So the first step is to acknowledge that and call it out, but not stay there. And to say something new is ready to be birthed. And here's the thing, because this is where I get stuck, y'all, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get that, but how? I get stuck on the how. And what I have to constantly keep remembering is that the how is none of my business. God, spirit, life, whatever word that represents that essence to you, that presence, that power will take care of the how when we continue to focus on, to speak words of, to resonate, to meditate on, to pray on, to hold the vision for a new world, one of love and wholeness and peace and harmony. We don't have to know the how. We have to continue to hold steady to the vision of what we desire, and then listen within to when we are being guided. So basically, we drop out of our heads and into our heart. And then that's when we have those moments that some call synchronicity. But as we would say, there's really no coincidence. Those are the God moments. That is how Spirit uses us to allow this vision to unfold. So we remain focused. Our job is to focus on the love, focus on what is possible, and be open to new ways, to be open to a new system, a new education system, a new economic system that supports all being and all life and loves and cherishes Mother Earth. We've been there before, and then things happen. I don't need to get into the history of colonization, but there is that internal seed of infinite wisdom within our hearts and within the hearts of all of the collective. That yes, it may have been packed over by a bunch of nonsense, but just as that bloom begins to crack open the hardened shell of the seed in nature, just as what we may call weeds demonstrate the strength. I was noticing through my foundation of my house, this thick of concrete over concrete comes a little green thing. I'm like, where did you come from, right? So no matter how solid these systems may seem in our lives and in our world and in our society, there's a seed of potential that is looking for the path of least resistance, guided by love, going called by the energy of the sun to grow, to break free, and to allow something new to be birthed. So my invitation this week, and especially tomorrow, but not just tomorrow, every day, is to remember that we are love, that anything is possible when we allow love to be the guiding force. When we get stuck in our head or don't see the way or don't know how, that's not ours to know in that moment. Allow love to be the guiding force. Love is the answer. Embrace it. Feed it. Rejoice in it. Talk about it. Share it. Celebrate it. Acknowledge it. Honor it. Cherish it. And remember that love is greater than anything else. So let us put our words, our faith, our action into this world every day as love. Are you with me? Are you ready to let love be revealed through you today? Yes. Are you going to get stuck when you don't know how? Probably. Someone's honest. But when you get stuck when you don't know how, are you going to find that space to breathe and allow something new, to call a friend, a practitioner, to listen within and to put it aside and not stay stuck? Yeah. There you go. That's it. That's the work. All right. So let's take this now into prayer. Beginning first with breath. I'm taking a moment just to acknowledge the power, the magnificence of our human heart. The whole time we've been sitting here, we've been perhaps trying to contemplate the words that have been spoken. We've been moved by the music. And through all of that, our heart has been beating. We didn't know how our heart beats. We didn't have to remember to tell our heart to beat. We wake up each day just trusting and knowing without a second thought that our heart is beating. For we are awake and aware and alive this day. So let us now turn with that much faith to the pulse of the universe. As we know and recognize love. Love as the heartbeat of life itself. Knowing and recognizing that this one life expressing as the many is wholeness. This energy is love, is peace, is creativity. This one life that is the very essence of all things is who I am. So I recognize right here, right now, that I am one. One with all. That love is who I am. Peace is who I am. Creativity, wholeness, freedom. All that I see and experience and witness in the beauty of Mother Earth herself and the magnitude of the cosmos is who I am. I am not separate, for there is only one. So it is from this place of oneness that I speak this word now, knowing that I walk upon this planet as a gentle giant. That I live on holy, sacred ground that has so many stories, that has survived so much life. And through it all, the resilience of Mother Nature is witnessed every moment. So I know that I too am nature. I am strong. I am guided by the energy of the sun, grounded deep like roots of a tree, connecting all the way to the core of this planet. And even beyond that, my essence, my energy, my spirit transcends all space and time. So what I know is that love is truly the answer. And in moments when I forget, when I get caught up in the drama, in the chaos, in the lie of separation, and the lie of lack, in those moments, I easily remember the truth by simply turning within, looking at a star, looking at a flower, and allow love to remember who it is as me. Allowing any old patterns of doubt, of lack, of fear, of not knowing, of trying to figure it out, allowing those old patterns to dissolve back to the nothingness from which they came. And standing tall and strong in the awareness of love. Fierce love, mama bear love, everlasting love, resilience, wholeness, oneness. So I am so grateful to be made new this moment, to let the past be the past and to choose to lay new seeds in this fertile ground right here, right now, seeds of possibility and potentiality, of peace, of harmony, of wholeness, of respect, of kindness, of creativity. Planting new seeds in this fertile ground right here, right now, and focusing on that vision for our entire collective of humanity, of the planet, and all life. Yes, how good it is to be steeped in this energy of love and possibility. And it is from this generative energy of gratitude that I release this word now, knowing that there is nothing more for me to do but simply let it be and to know it is already done. To claim it, to see it, to be it, and to allow it. And with this, we release and let go and claim it as so, as we together say, and so it is.